If you ask your friends, which electric scooter should I buy, the answer you're most likely to hear is the Ninebot Max G2. But you might be sorry if you buy a Ninebot Max G2 before watching this video, because this is the new Okai Neon Ultra. It's got higher top speed, a bigger battery, it's made by a company famous for reliability, and it costs less money. In this review, we'll put both scooters through identical tests to find out which one really has the highest top speed, the longest range, the best hill climbing, strongest brakes, and what each scooter does best. We'll start off by seeing what comes in the box, and then straight to a speed run head-to-head against the Ninebot Max. We're back on day one with the brand new Okai Neon Ultra. Let's open the box. These guys are really good at design. Wow, you hear that click? Now just one bolt right here and we're good. Okay, so that was one of the quickest setups ever. And something else these guys do really, really well are stem latches. So check this out, it's got a safety. You can't just pull it, you push it down and it drops down like that. And then, look at that, latches side to side. So there's no like fishing around to like latch this down. You just pick it up and carry it, and the balance point's right around the bottom stripe right there. Let's turn it on. There we go. And it wouldn't turn on until we plugged it in briefly to kind of wake it up. So if yours comes out of the box and won't turn on, give that a try. Let's find out how fast it goes in each mode. First mode, we've got it in eco mode, but it looks more like walk mode because we're going 2-3 miles per hour and we've got the headlight blinking. 2 clicks. Okay, now we're in L, which I assume stands for low, and we're spinning up to 12 miles per hour. All right, so now 2 more clicks, and now we're in H mode, which I imagine stands for high speed, and we're showing 24 miles per hour. And we've got turn signals up here. I was looking for the horn button just now, but of course there's not a horn, there's a bell right here. And this one rocker switch controls the turn signals from both sides, and it's all right up here. And so you can see them from the back, you can see them from the front, and then at the back you just have the tail light and brake light. And of course, the big deal for this one is it's got full suspension like the Ninebot Max G2, so let's squish on that a little bit. I can't wait to see what the suspension feels like on the road. Testing's up next. Okay, let's compare the top speeds of the Ninebot Max G2 with the Okai Neon Ultra. For all the tests that I'm doing today, I've got the scooters in their top modes, tire pressure is set to spec, and both scooters are fully charged. First up is the Ninebot Max G2. Good launch that time. With the new firmware installed, the Ninebot Max G2 went 21.4 miles per hour. Let's see if the Okai Ultra can beat it. Okay, now it's the Okai Neon Ultra's turn. Okay, now back the other way for the Okai Neon Ultra. The Okai Neon Ultra's ESG official top speed, 22.9 miles per hour, so it beat the Max by 1.5 miles per hour. But acceleration was a mixed bag. The Max was faster from 0 to 10 and 0 to 15, but the Neon Ultra was 1 second faster to 20. All right, now let's compare the brakes. First up, Ninebot Max G2. The Ninebot Max stopped from 15 miles per hour in just 12 feet. Let's see if the Okai can beat that. The Neon Ultra outstopped the Max G2 by about that much, stopping in 10 feet to the Max G2's 12 feet. In our range test, the Okai Neon Ultra covered 24.5 miles. That's 2.1 miles fewer than the Ninebot Max G2. But let me reveal one of the tricks that the Ninebot uses to extend the range. During the last 2 miles of the range test, it severely restricted the top speed. I'm gonna overlay the data here so you can see it. Now, that is a useful thing because it is going to help get you home, but what's also useful is that the Okai Neon Ultra averaged 1 to 1.5 miles per hour faster the entire time. We're gonna do a head-to-head hill climb test up next, but first let's check out the specs because these are direct competitors, so there is a ton of overlap between these two scooters, but there are also some very important differences. Color-wise, they both come in dark gray, but with the Ultra, you also get the choice of getting it in dark blue. And the Ultra also has an NFC key, which the Ninebot Max doesn't have. The drivetrain is very similar. Both have rear motors and claim 1,000 watts of peak power, except the Ninebot Max claims 450 watts of nominal power for the motor, and the Okai Neon Ultra 500 watts. The biggest and most important spec difference is that the Okai Neon Ultra has a battery with 719 watt hours. That's 30% bigger than the 551 watt hours from the Max G2. But because of the firmware in the scooter, they don't use that for more range. What you get instead is more top speed. And with either one, the charging time is the same, 6 hours from empty to full. Both have the same suspension with hydraulic in the front and springs out back, but both work equally well. Both scooters have 10-inch tubeless tires, and they look nearly identical, except for the Ninebot Max comes with sealant pre-installed, and the Okai Neon doesn't. Both scooters are also UL listed for safe charging, and both have IPX5 water resistance ratings, which, that seems a little low compared to some of the other ratings we've been seeing lately, except these guys, I really trust their ratings, and some other scooters might be exaggerating their water resistance. These are both really well-made scooters, but they do carry different warranties. The Ninebot Max has a 2-year warranty on most of the scooter and a 1-year warranty on the battery, and the Ultra has a 1-year warranty on most of the scooter and 6 months for the battery. Both scooters have apps that work really well, but the Ultra doesn't have quite as many features. On both of them, you could turn on cruise control, set up zero start, but you can't control the regen braking intensity or the throttle intensity the way you can on the Max G2. On the other hand, you can use the app to choose between 3 different dashboards on the Ultra and control the swag lights, whereas on the Max you don't get any swag lights at all. And the Ninebot Max is still rocking the same dashboard they've had since 2019. And finally, the Okai has maybe the easiest stem latch ever because you don't latch it to anything, it just locks into place and you pick it up. I think the Unagi scooters are the only ones that can compete with this for ease of use. Meanwhile, the Ninebot Max G2 has a latch that's really secure and easy to use, but when you go to latch it down, you kind of fish around and have to hook it on this thing right here. All right, that's it for hardware. Up next, let's see which one wins the hill climb. Okay, now it's time for the hill climb test. Let's find out if the Okai Neon Ultra can beat the Ninebot Max G2 up our 10% grade test hill. All right, first up is the Ninebot Max G2. All right. Okay, well the Ninebot Max did it in 12.7 seconds, so that's the time to beat for the Okai Neon Ultra. Ooh, I feel like this is gonna be close. I get a better launch on the Okai. I'm not sure if it's gonna beat the G2. So the Ninebot Max G2 climbed our test hill in 12.7 seconds, and the Okai Neon Ultra 14.0, so the Max wins this one. All right, well, let me give you some riding impressions of the Okai Neon Ultra. Now I'm in low, and throttle response is very easy. Top speed, we covered that earlier. I think it's around 15.5, and I won't try it now because there's people around. For me, I think I would just keep it in high all the time. I don't see any reason not to. I'm gonna switch over now. So now I'm in high, and the throttle's still just as easy to handle, maybe a little bit sportier, but anybody's gonna be able to handle it. But let's go over the scooter a little bit. So we've got a little bell over here. That's always nice in environments like this. Big grippy grips. They're not as soft as they look. They're kind of these big nubbed grips. I like the large diameter, but the rubber looks like it would be softer, but it's not. Really simple throttle. Okai is always known for their really clean designs. I really like this clean dashboard, clean cockpit area, single brake lever. This controls your mechanical front drum brake and the regen brake at the rear. It's got a nice rubber insert, feels really good. The only thing I do notice is that the regen is a little bit strong, which I like. I mean, it's good for your stopping distance. That's why this thing outstops the Ninebot Max G2. But when you want to just apply a tiny bit of brake, it's hard to do. It always gives you like a little bit more brake maybe than you want when you just want to slow down a little bit. I really like the suspension on this scooter. I feel like it's equivalent to the Ninebot Max G2, both front and rear, very similar, nice and plush up front with hydraulics up front, and then in the back is just spring suspension like the G2 and also adjustable like the G2. All right, so overall, what do I think about the Okai Neon Ultra? Well, I mean, it feels a lot like a 9bot Max, but it does have this sort of beefy, almost indestructible feel to it. You know, it's one of the things that Okai is known for. You know, they've made millions of rental scooters that were just made to take a ton of abuse. They're good at designing scooters that are easy to ride. That's definitely the case here. The ride is ultimately smooth. They did a fantastic job with the suspension. The tires feel great. You know, it's a good fit. Handlebar height feels good. And then it's also this huge roomy deck. I don't know if you can see my feet down there. Oh, this thing is so wide and has a big grippy rubber cover on it. I also like that, you know, there is a little bit of a rise at the back of the deck, but it's not as much as on the 9bot Max G2. So like when your foot gets up on top of that, it's really like the deck is an inch longer than the 19¼ inches that we say it is, because your foot can go up there and it's no problem. It doesn't like bump your foot up. Okai says that the Neon Ultra is pretty good off-road. So we're gonna give it a try in some gravel. Right now I'm in walk mode, and their walk mode is, you know, it's pretty slow. It's like 3 miles an hour, but I can see this being useful on sidewalks when you're around people or kids. All right, now we're going from walk mode to L mode or low mode. And we're really deep gravel here, so it's doing fine. This is a pretty steep hill too. All right, you know, and I think this is Okai's first single motor scooter with suspension, which is why they are, you know, thinking it'd be good for off-road. And, you know, the suspension definitely helps. This has got 10-inch tubeless tires, but the combination of the 10-inch tubeless tires plus the suspension, and I'm actually pretty comfortable out here. This is working out better than I thought it would, other than when I get into the really deep stuff. Okay, so that was low. Let's see what it's like to start in high mode on a steep gravel hill. All right, not bad. Oh, check out that view. All right, let's check out the brakes on the way down here. This is pretty good. I thought it might be a little overwhelming in the gravel because it is a little bit strong. It could feel a little bit abrupt on the pavement, but so far it feels pretty good. Here we go. Oh, now I'm gonna get some speed going. Woo, I'm moving. Ooh, another steep hill. Here we go. It's doing it. Oh, there's a snake. All right, well, I've got to admit, the Okai Neon Ultra did way better in the dirt than I thought it would. I think, you know, for serious dirt, you're going to want some off-road tires, but for packed dirt and gravel trails like this, the suspension did a great job of smoothing things out, and I had a lot of fun. Who should get the Okai Neon Ultra and who should get the 9bot Max G2? That's a tough question because they are very similar scooters in terms of their price and performance. The Okai's got the higher top speed, the Max G2's got longer range, but only because you're going slower. This has a bigger battery, so if you ride these two side by side at the same speed, I really think the Okai is gonna go further than the G2. So in that case, you've got higher top speed capability, you've got, you know, a bigger battery, let's call it that. And you've got both scooters that are really high quality and comfortable to ride. You got a few more features in the Segway app than you do in the Okai app, but you know, you get the different dashboards over here, which is kind of fun. Ultimately though, I think it's almost just a matter of taste. These are both really comfortable scooters that are really reliable and gonna get you where you wanna go. But you can often find the Okai Neon Ultra on sale for less than the 9bot Max, and for some people, I think that's gonna make the difference. For the best price on the Okai Neon Ultra, check out the link in this video's description, and if we've got any coupon codes, we'll put them down there for you as well. I'm Paul from Electric Scooter Guide. Ride safe, and don't forget to wear a helmet.